I was a little surprised to learn that's Bess on the cover. Honestly, Bess and Nancy look so much alike they could pass for twins. I wouldn't be surprised to learn Bess's original cover model was unavailable for this book, so they forced Nancy's model to play both characters.
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
The victim from book 77 briefly returns to introduce Bess and Nancy to Beau Winston, a fashion designer who specializes in wedding dresses. Someone stole his designs and sold them to a knockoff company named Budget Fashions. Naturally, Beau can't just show them the dress. He asks Bess to model the dress. She looks so fabulous, he instantly hires her as a studio model for his new short woman label called Petite Elite. At 5'4", she's a perfect fit. Nobody mentions Bess was already a model in book 51. Continuity! Beau is designing the wedding dress of billionaire heiress Joanna Rockford. He's shocked when he discovers the dress was stolen from his secure vault. The only two people working last night were ambitious design assistant Angel Ortiz and harsh-mannered sample maker Mrs. Chong. The other major suspect is rival designer Mimi Piazza. Joanna brings Nancy over for dinner to meet her two suspicious family members. Father Michael Rockwell alternates between canceling the wedding and controlling it. Brother Tyler is a dramatic actor who hates his dad so much he refuses to be in the wedding. The stolen dress is a national news story. Nancy's name and face are shown on TV. Her dad jokes she's famous. It's funny, but I seriously have to wonder how Mr. Drew knows she was on Fashion Flash that morning. Does he watch the show every day? Nancy tries to question Mimi, but her building has strict security. Nancy breaks in through the loading dock, but she's caught and thrown out. In a fairly cool section, Nancy pretends to be a thief. She searches Beau's building for all the weak points. There are several, including a weak point that lets her spy on the suspects. Mrs. Chong recently got a bunch of money. Angel gets furious when Beau won't use his designs in a show. The biggest security problem is a massive air vent in the vault. It's more than large enough for anyone to crawl through, steal the dress, then crawl back out unnoticed. This is why Beau shouldn't have hired the guy from Die Hard to build the vault. He puts large air vents everywhere. The culprit tries to kill Nancy by dropping a mannequin on her from the 4th floor. Nancy and Bess visit Budget Fashions, where they learn Angel is the culprit who's been selling the designs. Angel has a partner in crime. Nancy overhears his plan to meet with his partner tonight at 10:30. Nancy tries to inform Beau right away, but he disappears for 6 hours. This is before everyone had cell phones, so there's no way to find him. Joanna's dad leaves town. Nancy convinces Tyler to take his dad's place in the wedding. Also, Nancy and Bess serve as temporary bridesmaids in the wedding rehearsal, meaning they get a billionaire-level meal in New York for free as a reward for walking down an aisle with hot guys a few times. Awesome. Nancy tries to spy on Angel's secret meeting, but she gets stuck in traffic. By the time she arrives, it's too late. The culprit stabbed Angel with Mrs. Chong's scissors and dropped Mimi's handkerchief. Beau returns and he clears Mrs. Chong of all suspicion. Nancy and a police officer catch the culprit red-handed, ransacking Angel's apartment. The culprit escapes through the window. Nancy attends Mimi Piazza's fashion show, which has an airplane theme. Nancy is mistaken for a model when she wanders backstage. That gives her a good chance to search around and confirm Mimi doesn't have the stolen dress. Mimi catches Nancy and throws her out. Nancy solves the mystery mostly through luck. She attends Tyler's play and sees his locker has plastic sticking out of it. She correctly realizes the stolen dress is inside. Tyler confesses he stole the dress to punish his dad for taking over the wedding. But now that he's been caught, he realizes it was wrong. They set a trap for the culprit by having Joanna tell the press the dress is in Beau's office. The culprit sneaks into the office, destroys the wrong dress, and sets the place on fire. Nancy and her friends escape the blaze through the large air vents. Luckily, the culprit's standing around outside instead of fleeing the crime scene. The culprit is Mimi Piazza. Mimi gives a bragging confession. Like, "Ha ha! You can't possibly prove I'm guilty. Let me tell you every detail of my impossibly clever plan." She urged Angel to steal Beau's designs because she was sabotaging her competition. When Angel tried to double-cross her, she killed him. She tries to kill Nancy with scissors. The police officer arrives in time and arrests Mimi. Thanks to Nancy, Joanna's wedding is a huge success. Joanna is a billionaire heiress, so I hope she paid Nancy handsomely. It would be so unfair if all she did was give Nancy a wedding invitation. The end. Post-book follow-up. This was a great book for the series. It's fast-paced and interesting, the characters work fine, and it's more complex than usual because it has 3 separate culprits who are working independently, for the most part. I could see some people complaining the book wasn't action-packed as usual, since Nancy is only in mortal danger twice. Normally, someone tries to kill her 3 to 5 times per book. I didn't think that was an issue. The book could have done more with Joanna's fiancé, who doesn't show up much. Joanna's father and Mimi are treated as major suspects, but they only appear once before the ending. They could have played a larger role. Nancy has a cliffhanger at Mimi's place in the first third of the book. That would have been a perfect time for Mimi to appear. Angel dies on page 102. The suspect list at the start of the book mentions his death, although his name is withheld. I think that's too much of a plot spoiler, and it should have been removed. If he was killed in the first third of the book, then I would consider it less of a spoiler, and I'd probably be okay with it. Overall, I'd recommend this as a good book in the series as it emphasizes the mystery and the story. I like the subplot with Bess being a model, even if it wasn't too terribly important, and probably should be replaced with a second appearance by Joanna's father. I give Nancy Drew Files number 89, Designs in Crime, a 9 out of 10.